Hey folks, looks like I may be losing another Easter egg. You know, we lost Ripley. At least we saw something that was wrong and tried to give her antibiotics to offset infection, and we thought she was doing better, and then of course she went downhill and she passed away. Back this up a little bit. But I think I'm losing Scarlet, and Scarlet is my best Easter egg layer. She is like clockwork, she's on the nest. Well, not lately, because they all went through a really hard molt, and she had a hard molt, and most of them did. It was their time to molt, and a couple days ago, I noticed when she was walking, I went to go round them up from free range, and she was walking really slow, like dragging her feet slow. I said, "Are you okay?" And of course, I talk to my chickens because that's the way they learn vocabulary. They do learn vocabulary. And I thought, maybe it's my imagination. Maybe she's just tired. Maybe she's been out too long. I don't know. I thought, well, what's going on? Normally, Scarlet's very peppy. And then, I think it was like the next day, I noticed, I broke up that fight. I mentioned the fight to you, where Layla was beating up on Scarlet and Shelby. And I thought, what's gotten into Layla? Because she doesn't normally do like that. Not that bad. She was about to kill her. She wanted to kill her today. Well, today, same thing. I went to get them from free ranging, and she's walking very slow. And everybody's passing her by, and I said, "Scarlet, something's really wrong with you." And so she's one of these Easter eggers that she's flighty. She doesn't like to be picked up. Shelby's the worst, but Scarlet's not too bad. I'll say, "Scarlet, come on, let's go free range," and she'll go to the gate, and I'll let her out, and she'll take food from my hand. Shelby won't even do that usually. So Scarlet's not as bad as Shelby, but she's typical of these Easter eggers that I have from Cackle Hatchery right now. And so I thought by getting, I had my reservations about getting hatchery stock again, because the way my original flock died of every kind of reproductive malfunction you could think of, and they started right after 2 years old. Well, Scarlet's 2.5. So my husband had just gotten home from the post office, and I said, something's wrong with Scarlet. We need to check her out. And when she went in, she went to the back corner below the roost, and Magnus was guarding her, because she was getting picked on by Layla specifically. And we kind of had to corner her because she doesn't want to be picked up, so we had to kind of corner her. It was easier to get her this time than normal. And he picked up, and he said, "She's so thin, she doesn't have anything on her bone." He said, and I felt her, and she's skeletal. Now, they just went through a very hard molt. A molt will always bring out whatever's wrong inside. A molt is going to exacerbate because it takes so much out of them to regrow feathers. And she just finished a very hard molt. She's only 2.5 though, right? And she's not bloated. I didn't feel any bloat in the abdomen. So she's not retaining fluid at the moment. So we put her in a hospital cage with food and water. And he said, also when he examined her, he said, there's nothing in her crop. Usually they pig out in the morning. She didn't eat anything this morning. And when he put her in the hospital cage, I gave her a double bowl, one of water and one food, and she picked it up and she'd drop it. She'd pick it up and drop it, so she's not even eating. She's fake eating. Whenever you have a chicken that's sick and you think, oh, she's eating, make sure you notice if she's actually eating it or she's picking it up and dropping it, because they can do that. I had a hen die when I didn't notice she was fake eating after she was giving everything to her chicks. You've got to watch, you've got to observe. So something is terribly wrong with Scarlet, and I may lose a second Easter egger. This is just too young, but this is the way it went with my first hatchery stock. And I was afraid, I thought maybe the Easter eggers being of mixed genetics and not being a specific breed per se, they don't breed true, they're just almost a not Heinz 57 kind of bird that sometimes has the blue egg gene. I just thought maybe that would be better, but apparently it's not. So anyway, that's what's going on. And I want to talk about something else. A guy just wrote a paper, and the Epic Times had mentioned it. I forgot the man's name. It was something like pandemic preparedness is turning into international fascism. Yeah, the fascists are taking over. No, Donald Trump is not a fascist. If you think that, then you really don't even understand the meaning of the word. And I'm not going to tell you. You better find out for yourself. I can't spoon feed everybody about that. The leftists are fascist, absolutely fascist, and they're taking over. We need to find our national backbone. We've lost our true backbone. The backbone that founded this country, where the hell is it? Individual people still have it. I still have it. I didn't kowtow to the tyrannical people who said, you've got to cover your face to come in this business. It's like, well, screw you. I won't shop at your business then. You're losing customers, people. Well, I left 2 eye doctors because they wanted me to wear one even when the doctor had one on. It's like, oh, I really honestly should have said, well, he's wearing one. I guess he doesn't have any faith that that's going to protect him. So why is he wearing it if he doesn't have any faith in it? And second, if he's wearing it, why do I have to also cover my face? That makes no sense. So I didn't do it. I kept going through the list until I found one that said, no, you don't have to wear one of those. It's like, hallelujah, I found my eye doctor. We've got to find our confidence again. I have never seen people so timid and scared and automatically doing exactly what they're told without question. That just bothers me. It bothered me all during the last few years, and it's bothering me now that I think more people are waking up, but we still have those zombies. I've seen them already. They're already out. But confidence. It just reminded me of when my older son, when we were stationed in Wright-Patterson in Ohio, my older son, he was a little guy, and well, not only little, he was kind of a chubby kid, and he just, he'd mouth off. In a group of tougher kids, he'd mouth off, and he didn't have anything to back it up, so he's always getting in trouble or getting punched or something. And when there was a karate studio almost just right outside the gate of our subdivision. It was a hard form of karate called Genwakai, Japanese karate, and Master Tajima, and we enrolled our son in that. He got up to brown belt very quickly. He was a really good student, and then the next few months he grew like 6 inches. He grew 6 inches. He got lean. He got to looking like he could take care of himself. And he walked differently. He walked with confidence. He stood up, his shoulders back, and he'd walk through a crowd. And nobody messed with him because it looked like he might be able to defend himself. He walked with confidence. Nobody bothered him. The confidence changes things. It's not just the backbone. It's just you know, they say fake it till you make it. Well, it's a little hard to fake real confidence. But he had confidence. And so it just reminded me of the difference in the way that people dealt with him, the way that people reacted to him was so different because he had confidence and he knew he could take care of himself and he was ready to at any moment. That's the kind of confidence we need to have about this. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not. You do not have any right to tell me what to inject into my body. If you do, that means the government owns it. Who owns your body? You or the government? And businesses definitely don't have a right to tell you what. It's like to dispense medical advice, which is what say that you have to wear one of these is medical advice. It's a Class 2 medical device. Patient's Bill of Rights. Stand up for your patient's Bill of Rights. Find out what it is. Get a copy of it. Take it with you to the doctor's office. And if somebody says, well, you can't come in with us. Oh, are you refusing to treat me because I won't submit to this medical intervention? Because that's what it is. Patient's Bill of Rights says, I have a right to be treated well even if I refuse a medical intervention. You're violating it. I saw so many doctors violate their oaths and the Patient's Bill of Rights over the last few years. But you've got to have your confidence that you know what you're doing and you know what your rights are. If you don't, they can run all over you. The fascists are going to run all over you. So we need to find our international backbone. It's been so... Kevin McCarthy's definitely lost his. I don't know what his problem is. But he was praised by the Democrats for allowing this spending to continue. I got news for you. If you're being praised by the Democrats, you're doing something wrong. If you're getting praised by the left, you are doing something wrong. You know, the thought police. It's insane, the thought police. They want to put a gag order on Trump because he went into a gun shop, I think it was in South Carolina, and they had a gun, I think, with his image on it or something. The stock had his image on it, and he was looking and said, "Oh, that's a Glock is a fine pistol," and you know, he said, "I really want to get one of these," or something like that. They said he may have broken the law because federal defendants cannot buy firearms. Like, wait a minute. He's not convicted. What do you mean he can't buy a firearm? He doesn't get punished before he's convicted. Although they have been punishing him for years already. And he didn't buy one. He said he admired it. And he said he might want to get one. They said, "You can't say that. That's against the law." Like hell it is. No, it is not. It's like, y'all just piss off. What is wrong with you people? He didn't violate the law. And I don't understand why a federal defendant why his rights are stripped before a conviction even. You know, you can get your gun rights back even after a federal conviction. I think as long as it's not a violent crime, you can get your gun rights back. Did you know that? I didn't even know that until recently. You can petition to have them returned to you, the rights returned to you. But yeah, what is this? Where's our backbone? Let's stand up. Let's stand up for this. I mean, that man, Trump has, if he's got nothing else, he's got backbone. Where is your backbone? I'm so tired of these wussy little people. Well, you need to do this, and you gotta wear this, and you gotta inject yourself with this, and oh my, it's like, I like the heavy-duty country shirt. It says, "Calm down, Karen, it's allergies." You know, I feel like maybe I'm not doing my part as long as I'm not wearing a shirt that has an in-your-face declaration like that. I'm going to wear my "Don't Tread on Me" sweatshirt as soon as it's cold enough to wear it. I'm going to wear that a lot this winter, I do believe. But these little wussy people who just won't stand up for anything, if you don't stand up for something, you're going to fall for everything. And they've fallen hook, line, and sinker. The next time somebody says, "Well, don't worry, I've had my shot," I'm going to say, "Then you need to stay away from me. Back off." There you go. There's your social distancing. Back the hell off from me. If you had that, I don't want you breathing anywhere near me. So let's get our national backbone back. But yeah, pandemic preparedness is turning into international fascism. Every new program is about pandemic preparedness because it worked really good the first time. Not to eliminate any disease, but to get people under control. And that's what it was all about. It's always been about that. It's going to continue to be about that as long as you let it. I almost forgot to tell you where I was going with the Trump thing with the gun. And they want to put a gag order on him because, well, that's unconstitutional. You can't put a gag order on a candidate who's running for office. Or that's a completely communist move, just like it happens in Cuba or Venezuela. But the thing about the gun, times have changed so bad and we have devolved so much as a society. When my older son, who was in his mid-40s, was in middle school, there was a news guy on TV, and he always used these pointers, and I think he did the weather or something. He had the pointers, and people would and he had a pointer contest. Now, school kids could enter this pointer contest. They had to create a pointer for him, and he would pick what he thought was the best one and use it on the air. Well, my son in middle school, many years back, made a pointer that was a paper, out of stiff cardboard and paper, and colored it up because he's an artist. He drew on it, drew all the pieces. It was one of what they today call assault weapons. It was a rifle. It was like a semi-automatic rifle. And the saying that he put on there was, it was an anti-drug campaign. the saying he put on there was, drugs are a bullet to the brain. You remember the little eggs thing, the frying eggs? Like, this is your brain on drugs, frying in the pan. Well, his said, drugs are a bullet to the brain, and it was the saying was on this paper weapon, and he took that to school. And guess what? He won the pointer contest. The guy used it on the air, and he was in the article in the newspaper. I have the newspaper article. I can't think about where it is right now, but I have the article still with him showing his pointer with the news guy, the anti-drug campaign. My, how times have changed. If he took that to school now, they would bring the cops to arrest that little middle schooler. They would handcuff my child and take him to jail for drawing the likeness of a gun on a piece of paper. We have reached utter insanity. We're living in the twilight zone. So, y'all, find your backbone. If you have to, put screws and bolts in it to hold yourself together, but find your backbone so we don't all go down with the ship.